Hello, today we're going to be talking about respect, what it is, what it does, and how you get it, how to optimize it. Um, if we take a look, each faction has a respect, and we can see it usually right here in your own faction. You'll get a page like this when you're looking at other factions, and you'll see how much respect they have. And what this is it's the amount of points that a faction has to do its upgrades, and it also functions similar to the life of a faction, or how many health points it has. If a faction ever gets to 0 respect, the faction is destroyed. All the items in its armory are dumped onto the leader, and cash as well if there's any cash. And that faction can no longer accept anyone, everyone's removed from it, and that name is locked. So if you're starting out, you always want to avoid having a low respect faction because you're not going to have any upgrades, and there's always a risk of the faction getting destroyed, as well as many other risks associated with it. But first, let's look at what respect can offer. So if we go to our upgrades, this is where leadership can allocate respect into different perks. And this right here is called the core upgrades. You can see it right here, and these are things that once you purchase them, you cannot remove them. They function as the things that allow the faction to have different access to different things, like here's how many territories we can hold, here's how many members the faction can hold, here's the maximum chain size, which we'll be talking about chains a little bit today. And here we can see the organized crime unlocks, and of course the armory unlocks right here. So getting these unlocks access to these. If you're in a new faction or a young faction that doesn't have these unlocks yet, each one has some kind of requirement assigned to it. I can't see them because we already unlocked. Oh, here we go. So we have to hold 8 territories before we unlock the 9th. You see, we have to hold 9 before we unlock the 10th territory. If we look at chains, it works similarly. To unlock the 1000 chain, we have to do the 500 chain first. And you can see these little lines connecting the nodes. You have to always buy the thing to the left before you can upgrade the thing on the right. So that's kind of a quick guide to that. Besides the core upgrades, there's specialty upgrades, and these can be removed. They can be changed around. Each branch, each one of these kind of icons right here, you can select which category you want, and each one offers a variety of perks. So right here we have our criminality branch. This is going to be everything related to crimes. We can see it gives crime XP, jail time reduction, bust skill chance, bust nerve cost, and maximum nerve. And we can go over here to aggression. We can see that we get passive strength, speed, and hospital time. There's a complete array of perks, and we'll talk about that another time. The important thing to note is that as you increase the amount of branches you have, you can see it says 1x, 2x, 4x, 8x, 16x, and then finally 32x. That's the respect cost. So if we compare this first perk that we have right here, it only cost 1,000 respect. But if we look at this one, it cost 36,544 respect. And as you move to the right, things always get more expensive. We can see this is 78,000. If we were to come over here, we see this costs 656,000. So even though we have 9 million respect, and this is going to get us quite a lot of things, pretty much everything we need, we're still miles away from what we would need to fully unlock everything. That's 4 million respect we would need just to do that. So now that we know what respect is, let's talk about how we get it. And the simple thing is just attacking. Whenever you attack someone, you earn respect. And here, we got a little fight going on. This is convenient. Whenever you open your chain feed, you can see these attacks. We'll show any ongoing, outgoing attacks, and we see that our faction member Eli in green here successfully beat Tragic Comic and earned 3 respect. And we can see that he earned a full fair fight bonus. So that's where most of the respect is coming from. So to look at this screen for a second, we're getting a guide of how much respect is to be earned. And we can see when we do an attack, anyone in the faction makes an attack, we can see that it earns respect. We see this person's level 74, that's why it looks like a little less respect than this person who's level 85, and we can see a slight difference there even though both people got 3x respect. So to touch on that a little bit, the things that factor into respect is the target's level, how close their combat stats are to yours, and then these bubbles right here. The first one is their combat stats. There's a thing called the stat score, which is a math formula. What you need to know is like 3x fair fight is the highest multiplier you can get, and each bubble gives another multiplier if it's relevant. But for fair fight, it can go up to 3. That's based on how close their combat stats are to you. If they're around half your stats, you're going to get the full fair fight. If they're less than that, then the fair fight can drop and it can go all the way down to 1. Ignore these. This is recruit status, so someone who was in recruit status when they made their attacks, they actually don't earn any respect for the faction, so you always have to wait for recruit status to end. And as we can see here, someone attacked one of our faction mates. They were much higher level, so they did not get much respect, but they did get an overseas bonus, so this was probably an overseas mug or something like that. Last action overseas, that's not a good thing. You want to avoid that. But we can see it didn't cost the faction too much respect. Whenever you attack someone, you gain this respect, and however much you gain, the opponent loses a quarter of that. So if you gain 4 respect, the target's faction loses 1 respect. And that is why ranked wars and raids can drop a faction's respect quickly if you chain on them. So to talk about these other bubbles real quick, we'll discuss that, and then we'll talk about what chaining is and raids and all that. We already talked about the fair fight. That is how close their stats are to yours. That's going to provide a multiplier of up to 3x to the base respect, which is going to roughly be around 1. It depends on level. There's a 25% penalty if they're level 1 compared to level 100. But roughly it's going to be about a base of 1 respect. And then you always have some amount of fair fight usually, unless it's 1x. I mean, they're probably 10 times the strength to get that kind of fair fight right there, so I mean, you usually get a little bit. The next one is a war bonus. If you're currently at war, which is these other war panels that appear right here, whether it be a ranked war, a territory war, or a raid, you get a war bonus. This is a 2x respect multiplier for that hit. So this same 3.08, if this was a ranked war that we are fighting against this faction that this person would be in, hypothetically, then that would turn this into a 6.16 respect hit. The next one is retaliation. This can also double it. This is when you hospitalize someone who recently attacked you or another member of your faction within the past 5 minutes. So during ranked wars especially, but any kind of war where hits are going back and forth and you're hospitalizing the opponent rapidly, you're going to earn these retaliation bonuses, and they're going to double the respect again. So where this would have been 6.16 for a war hit and full fair fight, if it were retaliation as well because they hospitalized the target and they had that target had just hit someone in our faction, then that would jump it all the way up to 12.32 respect, which you can see how these bubbles could really massively increase. Of course, overseas means that the attack was overseas. It's a 25% respect bonus if you hit someone overseas. This helps with like ranked wars where a lot of factions, if they're at a disadvantage, they'll send a lot of smaller members to go fly out to different countries, do hits to keep their chain alive, and then the opposing faction can of course send members out to go bully those small people holding the chain up. For that, they earn a little more respect, and then of course the opponents are stuck overseas without a reliable way to get out of the hospital. Then finally, the last thing is a group attack bonus. You get a 25% respect multiplier for someone assisting you in a fight who is from your faction. We'll talk about assists another time. Just know there's a lot of benefits for 2 or more people attacking the same target, especially during wars. So keeping in mind all those multipliers, you can get like 20 respect hits, but typically you're going to see respect between 1 and 3 for these kind of random hits you're doing, whether it be missions or random muggings or whatever. And I should mention that muggings typically are less respect because they only do 75% of the respect that an attack or a hospitalization does. It's to kind of disincentivize people from just mug chaining. That used to be a big thing in Torn way back in the day. But other than that, that's kind of the rough idea of how respects work, how the hits work, all those things. The next way to increase respect would be through chaining. You probably notice this bar right here. If you're playing mobile, it's that kind of far distance thing that you never see moving and you're never quite sure what it's doing. This is your faction's current chain. The way this works is when anyone in your faction is making an attack, it contributes to an attack chain. And as long as people are attacking rapidly before this timer can drop, the chain will continue and it'll progress into these bonuses. So we can see here it says 1 out of 10. This is just lag. If I refresh, it'll show back to 0. And so we can see if we get 10 hits in within 5 minutes, we start a chain, we'll get a respect bonus of 10 for that 10th hit. Then we'll hit our next chain bonus, which is 25. If we look right here, we can see where the maximum chain unlocks are, and each one of those is the chain bonuses. So we can see 25, and then it's 50, 100, 250, and then it goes up from there. Where is it? Right here I've got a table from the wiki that shows you the bonus respect for each hit. So on the 10th hit of a chain, that attack is always worth 10 respect. For the 25th hit in a chain, that attack is always worth 20 respect. So on and so forth. This cooldown reflects when a chain breaks, how much time it would take for the chain to cool down. You don't have to worry about that too much unless you're breaking chains a lot, and you shouldn't be doing that. You should be contributing to your faction. Whenever they're running chains, they should let you know, and that's when you want to attack. Just attack and leave, get some respect, or do missions. The other thing about chaining and earning respect is it's not really tied to any other limitations besides that penalty for mugging. And it's not a big penalty, so if your faction will let you get away with it, I do recommend mugging just so you can earn more during the chain. But the other things you can do is missions, of course. Right here, usually you're getting asked to attack people. I mean, here's just put a bounty on someone, then attack them. Here we just mug someone, and here we just attack someone. So we can accept these during our chain, do all these hits. We'll have people that are available to assist us if we needed assist, but you don't really want to do that for regular chains, but the option is there. Along with that, you can always go to the newspaper right here and try to get some bounties. I mean, any amount of cash that you gain from doing your chain hits is going to be a little bonus to you, so you may as well kind of jump down maybe somewhere in here. 100k is 100k. We can see we got a target right here that's pretty viable. Here's one that most players could hit right here, and another one right here, and it's 100k. It's not a lot of money. I mean, selling losses is more profitable, but if you have to do your chain anyways, here's a little bonus cash for doing so. It's a target you can hit as long as you know what you're hitting and you're not getting baited into fighting people stronger than you. Then there's no reason not to, really. There's of course merits for doing your bounty hits too, and merits for respect and all that. So it's a good combination of things. To cover a little more about the respect itself, as a chain develops, there is a chain multiplier, so the higher a chain goes, the higher the respect you see will be. It's a logarithmic function, so it doesn't increase rapidly, but between the first hit and the 10,000th hit of a chain, you'll notice that it does noticeably increase how much respect a regular hit gets. Other than that, we'll be chaining ourselves pretty soon. I'll likely have a chain video. I might stream that and show me dumping hits. You can see I'm already stacked for it. Just gotta take Xanax and wait to use it until the chain starts, and I'll try to sneak in another Xanax here, which means I'll train off 100 of this energy. Xanax gives 250, that would put me at 750. So we'll see how that goes. My drug cooldowns are kind of teasing me right now, but hopefully I do have a video for you about chaining and doing our chains. We'll see if we can make it, see what happens. If you have any questions about chaining or respect, please post them. I'm doing these videos mostly to benefit faction members and help educate them on the things to do within the faction and kind of explain or show the things that are kind of difficult to just type out. But even if you're not in Black Statues, if you're just playing Torn, I do enjoy the Torn community. I think it's a good place to be, and I want to help people that are part of it. So if you have any questions related to this or not, just post them or ask me, or do anything you need to kind of communicate that question, and I will answer it to the best of my ability. I do want to make more videos related to chaining especially and respect, but this is just kind of a basic instruction so that anybody who is kind of hearing these words, not sure what it is, they can look it up, see what we're talking about, at least know what questions to ask and see where in the game they can look to find more information. Other than that, just thank you for watching. Thank you for checking this out with me. Thank you for listening to me blather about this game and talk about respect, and I appreciate that. So please do ask me any questions in the comments, or message me, or whatever you have to do. And yeah, I'll be making another video shortly. Thank you.